Okay, so this is my Yaesu FT-757GXII, FT-757GXII. Had it about 16 years, got it second hand, about 350 quid. I didn't use it loads. I used it a bit when I first got it, and I've used it a bit more in the last couple of years. And it's been fine, as you would expect it to be. And then maybe a month or so ago, I was fiddling around in the shack, around the back of it, unplugging something, and it was switched on foolishly. And I can't remember if there was a flash or a crack or what, but it just suddenly went out. And just last night I was looking around YouTube and I found a video which I'll put a link to up on this video now in the top right hand corner. You should see it, with a guy who was repairing a Mark 1 FT-757GX, the Mark 1, which is very similar to this radio, except the mic and drive I think is somewhere else, and down here you've got the like a rotary mode switch instead of the push button one. There may be some other internal technical differences, but that's like visually, that's the main thing you notice it's different about it. Oh, it's got a fast button, this one has as well, which means it does a ×10 when you're tuning, which is really useful. And also, depending on the mode that you're in, the step size changes as well. But yeah, apart from that, it feels effectively like the same radio. And he had the same fault, and it turned out to be a really simple thing. Well, I don't know if it was exactly the same, but we'll see anyway. So it's just given me the confidence to sort of take it apart and see if it's the same one. So I thought I'd record this for anybody else that might have a similar fault. So I'll show you first of all what's going on. So if I turn the radio around, just double check. You've got the okay, so the is that the marker button? That's out. Oh, sorry, that's the marker one. That's out. That's the linear one. That's out. Power output is in the forward position. Everything else looks fine. Right, here's my power supply on 13.8 volts. So it's quite a chunky power supply. It does sort of like 30 amps. It would run the radio fine at 100 watts, so I've got no concerns about there being an issue with the power supply. So let's turn it on, see what happens. Ooh, it says it's transmitting. Now it's not transmitting. You know it's not transmitting because it's drawing about an amp or two, which is about the same as it does on receive. So I'm pretty confident it's not transmitting. And I've had it on for a few minutes in this state as well, and it doesn't get warm at all. Thankfully, because no antenna currently connected. But I've got the mic and the drive all the way down. None of the buttons seem to do anything, no noise. A little bit of crackling from the when you play with the AF gain, so there's, I mean, we know there's juice there. That's the only thing which seems to make any change to the meter, is going between ALC and power out. The safety feature of the transmit's on, so you see if the transmit, the MOX button is in, it doesn't turn on. So it's kind of still doing roughly what I would have expected with the switch in that position. So yeah, so that's the fault. Let's see what happens when we take the lid off, see what it looks like inside. Alright, so there's just a couple of screws on the side there, same that side, a couple on the top, one there, and then around the back, a couple of screws. You can just see at the bottom of the heat sink fan, another one up there, and it just lifts off kind of really nicely actually. It looks like, I mean, I've had the bottom of this one before when I had to change something, but it looks like in the top it's probably never, I wouldn't say never been taken off, but it's really clean. Look at that, you can almost see your face in it. So next thing is to take this grill off. I might have to check that other video to see how we did that. Okay, I just had to flip it upside down, take the bottom off it, because that metal grill You can see it's held in underneath the bottom cover, so I've just taken the top off. Sorry, I should have said take the bottom off. Now I can get to these. Let's undo these ones. Okay, so got the juice on, as you can see. So just following the steps of this other video, he reckons we've got 13.5 volts there. Excellent. Okay, then the next step that he carried out was looking at this this diode here, and he had just nothing on it, just some millivolts, and I've got 3.9 volts. So I think we can say it's not the same fault. Okay, so he also had a look at this hold the phone and do this. Had a look at this over here, and this was something else on the 757. On the GX2 it's J15. I don't know if you can see it. Go in the top there. It's J15. So pin 7 I'm going to presume is this one here, because it's the dot is at the other end and we have no volts. And just in case it was this one here, we still have no volts. So that's promising. So it could well be the same fault. And then coming across to here on the schematic for this one, I'll just adjust the light. It's this little diode is D92. It's a real rat's nest of wires. Can you see it? It's that little one there, just to the left of the transistor. There we go. You can see the 92 D92 just below the green cap that says 102 on it. And very carefully, if I probe that, we've got 3.9 volts. Right, so we've lost best part of 4 volts between that diode and that connector J15 there, and on the schematic there's nothing between them, so that's very promising. Okay, a bit more sanity checking. So so I've checked out JP10, which is the right hand of the two white jumper blocks there, and pin 5 has no volts on it, which should be the 0.4 volts that's on that little diode that we were just talking about, D92. Yeah, 13.4 volts, which is on pin 4. Pin 4. Let's just double check that. Pin 4 of this jumper. Yep, it likes that. Not sure why the meter made that noise. But then on pin 5, which should be the 4 odd volts that we had on the diode, nothing there. So, but pin 4 with the 13 odd volts on it, 13.5 volts goes to that little diode above the transistor. So its number escapes me this second. I think it was D24 on this version. If I just probe, where is it? Don't want to get it wrong. That one, yeah, a bit on the dark side, isn't it? It's a bit Darth Vader. There we go. So if I just probe that, 13.14 volts. Oh, that was the meter telling me it was about to power off. 13.14 volts. So what was it over here? Meters off. Over here it was 13.5 volts. So we're losing 0.4 of a volt between there and there, which feels like quite a lot to lose. I might have been on the wrong side of the diode, and it could be a germanium diode. Okay, that would make sense. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. Okay, so looking at the schematic then, this is where I don't have any fancy technology. Looking at the schematic, you can see the 13 volts, 13.5 volts from pin 4 of J10 should go directly to that diode. If we lost 0.4 volts across it, then that'd be about 13 volts. That makes sense. So there's volts going into the transistor. Huge drop across that transistor though, which doesn't quite add up. Then we've got 4 volts the other side of D92, and then anyway, trust me, no volts on J15. So there we have our fault somewhere. Okay, so now we're going to lift this top board off. I've removed a post there, a post there, screw there, screw there, and screw there. And I've loosened these ones at the front on both sides. It pulls the front back, and that means that the board should be able to slide back and lift out. So let's see what happens. Okay, well that seemed to work, because now the board is, you can feel it's loose. But I understand I now have to take this RF cable off. Apparently they're fragile, so be careful. And all these white connectors here, we've got 1, 2, 3. I think there's one down, maybe that one there, and one of the ones up here. But I'm going to start with these ones in the corner and then see how easy it is to lift and what's snagging. Also, apparently use a tool to loosen these. Don't just pull the wires. Okay, so far so good. So just for the record, in case I forget, I've taken out this one, which goes in there. This one down here, which goes in there. That one there. This big one here. I think I'm probably also going to take out that little one, but I'm going to try it first. It's got quite a long lead on it. This one here, and that one there. I probably would have, next time, should I do this again, I'll remove the headers first before undoing the screws holding the board down. Just gives you a bit more purchase. What I used was just a screwdriver on the edge of the, very gently on the edge of the plastic, kind of wiggle it, and then on the other side wiggle it, and you can kind of prise it out without really giving it too much force at all, which is good. Don't want any unnecessary force in there. So I'm going to try lift. Oh, I haven't done the one at the top. I'm not sure which one he meant, so I'll try lifting it first and see which one is short. Alright, so I've also just taken this one out, though it may mean I need to remove that bit of tape as well in case if it snags. That one I've not managed to get out yet. I've had a little go. Don't want to give it too much pressure. It's snagging on something though. This end, the top end seems okay. I can see now it's that one that needs to come out. There's something pulling at the bottom. So I've got to work on down here a bit more. Okay, it should have been obvious. There's these 3 in the corner here. Part of a big bundle of wiring here. It's a real rat's nest. It's not even as neat as the 757 Mark I, I don't think. Okay, that was the last of the connectors that needed doing. And so here's the underneath of the board. And I think possibly it is the same fault. At first I was like, oh no, it's not the same. But if you look down here, can you see that trace there? Just get focus. Focus for me. Focus for me. There, you can see bare copper. Everywhere else it's kind of got the green coating, but here, I've lost it. Where are you? There it is. But here, it does not. So that must surely signify. There we go, finally some decent lighting. That must signify something. It might just mean why someone would have turned this over and worked on that bit of track before. It's not been worked on. It doesn't look like it's been worked on to me. So I'm hoping that what it actually signifies is that the trace has burnt out, because that would be great if it's as simple as that. So out with the probes. Okay, it is indeed good news. I was just poking about with my probe, my ohm meter, and look, the entire bit of track's just lifted off. Yeah. So I will do. I want to measure between there and there, which is the tray. Before I realised it had just lifted off, I measured it, and it was giving me about 10k, which is a bit high for a piece of track. So I think I'll remove that and replace it with a little bit of wire. Okay, so here's my my Heath Robinson SMD workstation, if you like. Audi special magnifying glass. Might be Lidl actually, I don't want to promote one supermarket over another. Oops. So there we can see, so this is through the magnifier, so it's a bit easier to see. The copper coloured trace, that's the one that's lifting up. So, so I need a third hand. Yeah, I mean, look at that, it's pretty much flying up in the air. Just give it a quick little tug. I'm not bothered how far back it goes, because it doesn't do anything before it gets to that. Yeah, it's quite hard to grip actually. Might have to use the snips on it. Yeah, I think it's a snipper job. And there we go. Just snipped it at both ends. Okay, so there we go. I've done it. It's the thinnest wire I could find, which looks thin with the bare eyes and incredibly chunky under a magnifying glass on a board like this. Yeah, it was a bit messy to start with, so I tried cleaning it up and used some desolder wick and so on. And I think it looks a little bit better, but I've just put loads of solder flux residue all over the board now. There it is. Ugh. Looks nasty, but kind of the best I can do at the moment. And trust me, most of the mess that you see is flux, although it's not a very neat join. Yeah, it's alright. Quick test then. And there we are after application of a bit of flux cleaner, actually aka WD-40. Oh, still a bit of cotton bud stuck on the board. It's still very shiny. It's not as good as proper flux cleaner, but actually the reflections aren't helping, are they? There we go. Oh, that's the best image I've had all day. Yeah, reflections aren't great, but there's no shorts. That's the main thing. Alright, so just turning it over, about to try and slot it back in. And I've just spotted these little plastic things. Not sure what they are. Mildly concerned that I've snapped something off. Let's have a little look around. Okay, so I can't find anything that those bits of plastic have obviously come off. So touch wood, nothing essential. Before I start clicking things back into place, just check so these screw holes line up. Lines up, one in the middle. Lines up in the corner. Yep. I had a quick peek under the board before I let it go down finally, and there was nothing under there. So that one there, 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 that one there. Got a big one here. I can't. Oh, that's the speaker. Yep. That one there, that one there, that one there. Okay, looks like they're all here. Good sign. That one there. Right, let's start plugging them in then.
Okay, so I can't see any headers that I've missed off. I put the screws in first, by the way, so the board was nice and sound. So just in my head, go back over them. Yep, 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 yep. On there, yep. And the RF cable. So it's looking pretty good. Oh, by the way, don't forget to do this. I've got it all in. That was still sticking outside, and it was just a bit of copper tape, some shielding stuff. The lid came off when I was lifting the thing off earlier on, so that should be in there. But I just couldn't be bothered to unscrew everything, so I just bent it back in. It looks okay. It lines up with the hole, so I think it'll be fine. Right, so far so good. Okay, so I can't see any headers floating about. All screws are on. I've taken sort of a little break and come back to it, so I don't think I've missed anything. I'll just quickly look under here to make sure there's nothing floating about. No. Okay, good. So put that there. Let's stick this back on the top. Okay, so just place the lid back on the top, just for the purposes of seeing if this works now. So soldering that out of the way. Right, off, power supply on, power supply not plugged in. Power supply on. Moment of truth. Okay, it's a huge improvement. Because the display's on, the lights are on, and it made the startup noise, but there's something funny going on with the meter. And sound isn't quite right. But okay, it's an improvement. I clearly knacked more than one thing in it when I shorted something around the back. Okay, so there's no power there. Okay, so it's a receive issue because it goes into transmit all right. Ooh. Oh, hold on. I had the RF gain turned down. Aha! Yeah. So yeah, not every knob should be fully counterclockwise. Wow, right, now I feel like I need to stick an aerial on it to it's completely reset. Okay, great. Wow. If I sound surprised, it's because I am. And let's plug an aerial in. Right, aerial plugged in now. So I did actually do this a second ago, but it wasn't recording. So,
excuses for the owners here not investing, but our owners have never.
It is working.
They've never paid out big money when there's been other things going on.
I mean, it's a bit of an NAF aerial that I've connected to it, but it's receiving. That's the important thing. The meter appears to be working.
Your 90s 10th birthday this week. The rock party continues tonight with the Doors and Guns N' Roses coming up next.
So yeah, all good. See if we can hear anything on the amateur bands. Okay. It is working. Thank you. Stay tuned for more adventures in fixing radios that I've broken.